Hello and welcome to how to enable Turnitin on an assignment in Canvas. My first step is to come into my course or here my sandbox course and click on assignments. Either I can click on an assignment that already exists or click plus assignment in order to add a new assignment. Once I add in my assignment name, add in directions, any student learning outcomes, and maybe even helpful links to support students in completing the assignment. We're going to scroll down, continue assigning by adding in the points, how I want the grade to display as, and then here we are going to make sure that under submission type is selected for online and select the online entry items that you want students to be able to submit. Then towards the bottom part, we see plagiarism review as one of our options here. By default, it is toggled to none. However, if we want to enable Turnitin for this assignment, we're going to use that drop-down menu and select Turnitin. From here, you have additional options that you can choose, whether it's the standard paper repository or not to store the submitted papers. In addition, you can choose how you want it to compare submissions against and what items you want excluded from the similarity report. The similarity report is what flags parts of the student submission as possible plagiarism. You can also save these settings as your default settings, and then choosing how or when you want students to be able to see their report. Immediately, after the assignment is graded, after the due date, or never. So I would suggest that you do allow students to see their results as well in order to aid in transparency, but ultimately this is up to the instructor. Although it does say immediately here, it may take 5, 10, 15 minutes for the assignment to scan. So as much as we would like it to be immediate, it may take some time to process. Once you're ready, you can click that Save button in order to save your assignment. If I go into the student view by clicking View as Student at the top, I can now select where I would like my submission to come from, either the text entry box here or file upload, or under the More option here, you can select Google Apps, Microsoft Education, or OneDrive. In order for Turnitin to work well, the student submission should be in paragraph form, not including bullet points and numbered lists, and include at least 300 words in each section. So if you had students submitting their paragraph and then included a bulleted list, that paragraph must be at least 300 words in order for it to scan well. Otherwise, Turnitin software may not recognize that there is enough text in order for it to scan. However, if students include a paragraph, a bulleted list, and then another paragraph, Turnitin software will be able to scan the paragraph chunks, but not the bulleted list information. Once students add in their response, they will need to click the box to agree to Turnitin for scanning their work, and then click the Submit Assignment button in the bottom right corner. For this example here, I have included the lorem ipsum part of Latin that is often used as an open source availability here. So I just copied and pasted this a few times to make sure we got over our 300 word minimum, and then I'm going to submit the assignment. Now, if we leave student view and go into Speedgrader, at this point, since I just submitted it, it will not have any plagiarism checker having already run, it will say resubmit for plagiarism review. If you want to try to hurry it along, you can click that and you'll get a little green box at the top of your screen. However, once it is able to process and run that similarity report, including some AI checkers, although it is not 100% correct by any means. So if it does flag for AI, that could be something that could be used in a conversation with your student about whether AI was used or not, because this is not a foolproof method. So once this runs for the similarity report, we will see a button for it here within the Speedgrader sidebar. And if students wanted to see that, they would have access to that in grades as well. On their grades page, they will see a color-coded little flag next to their grade. Green for great, as in there is very little items flagged. Red would be a flag that there is maybe more items or parts of there that was flagged for plagiarism. So something to take in consideration for as you have that discussion with your student. All right, so I hope this has been a helpful video in figuring out how to scan student submissions with Turnitin, adding that option to your assignment, and then viewing those results within Speedgrader.